I've been excited about doing this YouTube live with you guys. Now, I'm doing it where I'm not near my computer, so I'm not gonna be able to see your chats. I will have some folks chatting with you. If you have questions or say anything, don't worry. And then when I'm at the end, I will actually, as I'm closing down, see anything you said and be replying back and forth. What's really important here is that together we can be a part of changing the culture. This culture that has really left behind the basic elements of life. As I talked about last night in my invitation to you, I talked about this idea of events that occur in our lives. Everybody has them, right? All kinds, global, domestic, personal events happen. What really changes the outcomes, as I call this outcomes based training, outcomes come from what is your response to it. There are lots of responses you can have to anything. Some of the most popular are these of response of complaining and whining all the time. Other responses are trying to trick your way out of things or through things. And other ways are playing the damsel, somebody rescue me. Everybody rescue me all the time. But what I'm going to break down for you tonight in this training, I trust will be an absolute blessing for you. I believe that in order to plow through some of the events that have occurred in your life through your jobs and then home business, and for some of you that are watching this, you're new to working from home, I believe it's going to be huge for you to understand that there are responses that you were prepared for from birth. When you were born, you were prepared to respond to specific events in your life. And so we're going to hit that. We're going to hit that nail on the head. And I'm really happy about it. Like I said, I got to get used to this YouTube live. And when I get back to Colombia, I'll be able to do them standing up, which I work better standing up, whiteboard and all that kind of stuff. But for now, let's keep it as it is. So, tonight, April 20th, a little bit after the hour of 9 o'clock, what events have occurred in your life? Let's take a look back as we talked this through and remember that we were born with this. We were born with the ability to be able to approach events. Even as an infant, you were given natural instincts from birth. Your gift from God to you. And those gifts are quite interesting. I think about a baby in its crib has the event of hunger which approaches. Now, a baby doesn't really have all the social skills to make him or her self-conscious of what people think or what they're doing. So what does a baby do? A baby will yelp out from the bottom of their lungs until they get what they want. They're hungry. Or if they've got a stomach ache or their stomach or they're the full pamper. Whatever's going on in their child's life as an infant, it was prepared to handle it by reaching out until it gets what it wants. A child doesn't stop. An infant will not stop until it's either resolved, right? And or they get what they want. What's interesting is we were already equipped with this stuff and we lost it. It's sad stuff. But what's really interesting is if you're thinking about how you can be a great entrepreneur, we're going to adapt some of this stuff back, but just let's go ahead and bear with me for a minute and think about how infants, what their behavior's like, if they just want to be held, right? Take some conditioning. First, they got to make sure they take care of the first thing. They got to eat. Then they get to this point where they want to be held. They want to sleep in the same room with you. It's interesting to watch the behavior through not just the infant stages, but through childhood development. In childhood development, what I like about it is you can walk back through and see how a 24-month-old will walk over to another child who has a brand new birthday gift, and then the 2-year-old will take it out of their hand and say, mine. Not knowing all the rules, not even caring about rules, right? How do you recognize that? Typically, they won't even recognize the rules or anyone else in the room. Even if their parents said, you better not, that doesn't belong to you. They don't care. They see it, they want it, and they're determined. You remember when you were like that? Has there been a time, even beyond your 2, 3-year-old years of life where you saw something, you just wanted it? No, God forbid. We're not talking about going out and robbing someone or holding them up. We're just talking about things that you could actually get your hands on because you've been equipped from birth to have the drive, right? What do you do? How could you get to that point? I'm saddened today of how little of our natural resources that we use to accomplish things. We have fallen back over the last decade to tricks and hype and special things to attract people to things, to anything that helps us to be eliminated from doing the work. Could you imagine what life would be like if you could have it again? Could you imagine that? What would life be like if you were able tonight, right? Think about it. You look at something and you got the drive. You will do it during the night. Remember how a child is. It doesn't care if it's 2 a.m. If it's hungry, that child is going to go ahead and let you know. If a 2-year-old knows that they're going to be put on punishment, they'll get their hand smacked, they will get yelled out or get time out. They don't care. They say mine. Do you remember, just answer this, what would it be like for you if we could go back to that? By the way, if you already imagine in your mind what life would be like, if you could just go back, type in the number 1. What's it like for you? You see the kind of income you want, and you do whatever it takes to go get it. You're not thinking about what people are thinking or saying or doing. You just have it in your head what you want, and you go get it. You're not looking at how someone else got it, right? This other kid over there, their parent bought them a new truck, right? Or a new doll, right? A 2-year-old doesn't care how everyone else gets it. They just see it and they go for it. Wouldn't it be beautiful to have that again? Huh? Well, I'm trusting that this week we'll be able to get through some things to get you back there again so you could be as you were prepared to be, able to achieve so many things. Because of the drive, because of things you already have in you, what's happened over time, we've outsmarted ourselves. 99% of all we need always has to come from somewhere else. Well, if I just had more money, if I had that person as my upline, if I was in a company that did this, if I had a better computer, we always believe that the answers come from everywhere else. And the more you believe in that, the further away you get. And it's part of the reasons that you have the system that you have now, where you have to constantly join a whole bunch of companies all year long. And by the end of the year, you're still searching. You and everyone else are making resolutions, talking about what you're going to do in the new year. You're enjoying every hype, everything that's come along, only to see that you're still at square one. You still haven't seen that sweet spot you saw years ago. So what if we could? If you could get back there, I believe that you would be on top of your game. You would recognize that your success has very little to do with who your upline is. It has very little to do with what company you're with. When you've got the goods, you take the goods with you wherever you go. That's the beauty. If you don't have the goods, you take those with you wherever you go as well, right? So, walk with me if you will. As we look backwards, I have 2 questions. First one is, how'd you lose it? How did you lose that thing that was given to you from birth? As I think about that question, I can't help but say that we lost it because we were trained. In many cases, depends on what country you live in, it took 12 years to condition you away from that drive. Condition you into conformity. Being like everyone else, dressing like everyone else, talking like everyone else, walking like everyone else, right? That's what happened. You were conditioned. Now we have to break that cycle and uncondition you. Some of that conditioning goes all the way, even goes through college, goes through marriage. You want to do everything the way everyone else does so you don't ruffle feathers, and you forgot about that drive inside you. It was squashed. It was smothered and put out. That was the first question. You guys get that? The first question was, how'd you lose it? And the answer is, you lost it because you were conditioned over years, many years of school, primary and secondary education. You've gotten some great things in your education, but you've lost some of the most pertinent things that you need today. Question number 2. Can you get it back? I like this question because I love what it means to reclaim things. I say not only can you get it back, but I say you have to fight for it to get it back. You've got to fight for it to get it back. That's what I had to do. I look back at the years when I came into home business. I'll never forget it. My brother Myron, who at this time, his home business that he has was through a company called Aniva, had his company car already, was a national director, was getting awards on stage, made more money, right, many times over that he in that company that he did it when he had a job, right? And so it was mind-boggling because I had this college education. And I thought I had it going on, and I didn't. I mean, I was okay, but I was doing nothing compared to this guy. I had an MBA, I had a bachelor's degree in biology and chemistry. I was a pre-med major, and my brother is doing network marketing, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on. I had to be unconditioned to be successful. I had to be taught when to speak and when not to speak. I had to be taught that I have to go to work. I can't be lazy. I had to be taught I had to work harder on myself than I did on my business. I had to work harder on myself than I did on my team. And those things make the difference. We lost this idea of what it means to plug ourselves in. And I want to get you back here today because I want to tell you something. In my own experience, I struggled. I wanted to just get a team because I knew people. My brother says, "No, you got to go out and recruit them. You have to go out and go for it." That's what I had to do. And then he told me he's worked the first 3 years before he got his first check. I think his first check he got in home business was like, I think, $85 or something out of 3 years or something. I forgot the number. I have to ask him, or you can ask him when you talk to him. But what's crazy about this is, because I had someone there working with me and told me that I have to go to work like we grew up working. I had to fight for it. It was no less than 90 days. I had grown my team and jumped many levels in the company. Not because I'm good, but because I went to work. No one said make a cool video and you get thousands of people. Nobody said get a fancy quote unquote landing or capture page and I'm going to join everyone. I had to go to work. And it meant all of me, not just outside things. If you're saying you're not successful because you don't have the right page, you don't have the right upline, you don't have the right marketing system, you don't have all that stuff, trust me, you need to go back and get a job. The way this stuff is built, you build it by working and you work through it. And I'm going to get to that, but tonight we're going to talk about your response to the tragic event that has occurred in your life. You lost your mojo when you lost your ability to go fight and go all out for what you want. It took many years to get to that way. So we're going to tonight, we're going to make sure we're prepping you because tomorrow night, it's when we get to this idea of how to attract someone and recruit them for your business. I don't care who says you want to join a business that says no recruiting. How's that worked for you so far? All those companies you joined in the last 3 to 5 years, for those of you that have, how's that worked out for you so far? You joined it and there was no recruiting needed. Anyway, I learned from the scriptures that everything reproduces after its own kind. So if you're going to bring nobody in, right? I don't bring anybody in. If you join my team, you're not going to be doing much either. Together, none of us will make anything. All right. So the second question was, how do you get it back? And I said you got to fight for it. You get that? If you're willing today to commit and fight for it, type in the number 2. It's like, so I know I'm not by myself. I'm a fighter. This pandemic has hurt so many businesses, so many families, so many streams of income. And it's time for everyone to fight for it back. Are you willing to fight for it? I believe within my heart, everyone was born with with the ability to fight for what's theirs. It's time to go back and get it. You know, as I think about it, we want to fight. We're going to fight by number 1. We're going to fight against The laziness. The laziness that will occur. The laziness is the thing that makes your brain start seeking out a way to eliminate needing to do the work. So you go out and watch 14 videos, all an hour apiece, to figure out that you need some third-party thing to make you eliminate the work, when in all those 14 hours you could have just done it. Interesting. You're going to find out something that will create a lead that you won't talk to because you already cut corners. Someone told you don't need to collect the phone number. Somebody told you that you just need to come up with some Spanish email message, and you never really connected enough, and you could have just learned how to do it right, and you didn't need the gimmick. We want to fight the laziness that makes us believe that all we have to give to make success is give money. Someone lied to you. And the person that tells you that all you have to do is pay, all they want is your money. They don't care if you don't pay them a second time. That's all they want. Period. Even if they don't know that that's all they want, I'm telling you that's all they want. It may be at a subconscious level, but in 99% of the cases, it's at a very conscious level. Not just fight the laziness, those lazy habits. Those lazy habits of surfing Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter more than you work on building your business and building your team. That's a lazy habit. Did you not know that you're getting back what you're putting in? Did you not know that the reason someone brings home a guaranteed check if they work at McDonald's or Wendy's or Pizza Hut 40 hours a week is because they put the hours in, they put the work in, they're getting something back, and it's fixed. Did you know, as a person with a home business, if you put in 40 hours of work, not surfing, right, not pretending to be working, and your education isn't working, watching videos and webinars is not the work. That's the training. That's separate. I didn't get to that yet. That's your development. If you put the work in, you'll be able to bring in many times over the amount of money these people are putting in at jobs. But what did you do? Many of you participated in the scam level of every business. That is, all you did was paid, and when you got nothing back, you sprouted out that it was a scam. Then you've got people that you've told about it, and then they're like, where was that other thing you were in? Now you're in another thing. Now they see you coming and they run because they know that you are a scam magnet. I remember in school, they'd say, dude, you're a chick magnet, right? For guys good looking, he was a chick magnet. Well, in this case, you're very much a scam magnet. Scams love you. All they have to do is have a dangling participle. All they have to have is some fancy thing or some money falling out of the sky on the website, or maybe even 3 people driving a Bentley that have signed up. Maybe give a couple of top leaders free positions, let them earn massive checks because they're the first ones in, and you see that and you believe it's for you too, and you fall right in line, and guess what? You've become a scam magnet. This week, I'm intending to cut it loose, to get rid of that. We got to lose those lazy habits. And anything that wants to give you the world but doesn't want you is an absolute all-out lie. Did you catch that? If it wants you and only some of your money, but wants you and wants what you have to contribute, now you can rest in the shore you're going to get something. Didn't you guys know that? Did you not know if you meet a woman and all they want your money but don't want you, you got a problem? Ladies, didn't you know if you meet a guy and all he wants is your money, your credit rating, but he doesn't want you, that you got some issues? Why is it that we treat our business any differently? I'm here to tell you. Amen, right? You guys are funny. So the lazy habits. We're going to get past the convenience and comfort. It's amazing. I'm amazed at how many people want to do business only if it's comfortable. Well, I can't do that training. I won't be able to do that because I already had some time I work out. It's kind of time I do this. We're supposed to make adjustments when things are important to us. And then we can make an adjustment in something that's not as important. We move it and do it. We fix it at a different time. But this idea that you will only be successful if it's convenient. If it means getting up early or going to bed late, not going to happen. There are some that aren't here because it's at 9, right? And that means it's 10 o'clock in the morning their time. Some are at work. Some have legitimate reasons. But many who won't attend such things, it's because of this idea of doing business conveniently. Now, I'm here to tell you, the price for success is not convenient at all. It's very unsettling. It means sleepless hours, empty stomach, right? It means working when others are playing and others are eating and sleeping. It means that. And if you're not willing to do that, trust me, go back to work. That's what the price for the success you want? Are you kidding? My goodness. Anyway, I don't get caught up in it. I want to make sure that you understand the response that you should have. In order to do that, we have to look back and see from where you've come, and then take a look at this fight. Our response is going to be, we're going to fight for it. We're going to fight and get it back. Lastly, of this fighting as we fight for it, we're going to fight this idea of trying to be, look, and walk and talk like someone else. It's not cool. We got to do it. We cannot spend our time doing everything we can for everyone else's approval if it looks and sounds like everyone else. It's so amazing. One person creates this idea of lifestyle marketing. Everyone else believes that that's the gospel. No one ever challenges it. No one challenges this idea of actually having evidence of the success, evidence not being evidence of progress and success within the company, right? Like how many people in your team, how many leaders look like you? Did you not know that a good leader goes nowhere alone? A good leader will go nowhere alone. They will spend their time growing, but the people closest to them will grow the same way. Great evidence of you being a great leader and being a successful network marketer is how many people that you have sponsored are also very successful. That's how you become a scam repellent. Scams don't like you if you hustle and you work through it. So, as we looked at this stuff, I think we should just look back and reclaim it. Let's reclaim it all. We can do it together because there's some stuff I want to go through with you this week on how to build a team, a championship team. I want you to learn how to recruit. And no, it's not bad. No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. It's time. And tonight I'm kicking this off because I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to pretend that all you have to do is do some fancy gimmick. All you have to do is believe a lie. I'm not going to be the guy that falls into that wants you to fall into that category. I want you to go down the road where you can apply you. You can apply all of you and a little bit of money. And you can apply a little bit of time, maybe speaking on a conference call or a webinar. But all of you, what you do when no one else is around, that's the person you want to be the sharpest. Who you are when everyone's not watching you on stage or seeing you on camera, that person when you're by yourself, that's the person you really are. We have to work to develop that. So how are we going to do that? One of the things we're going to talk about is your response in this development. You got to get developed so you can be prepared to develop others if you're going to make money in this industry. I truly, truly believe that we were born with the ability to accomplish anything we put our mind to. That's the power of our brain. We were born with that ability. Our desires fueled and heated up the engines inside this mojo that we were born with, and we had it conditioned out, and I'm begging you tonight to claim it back so we can go get it. Are you ready? Are you going to go with me? If you're going for it, type in number 3 because I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. I am so blessed that I was taught this. I learned this at the age of 41. It changed the last 14 years of my life. Economically, development-wise, personally, family, were more powerful than all the other years combined. Not just because I was getting older, but because the principles I learned was able to apply. And you deserve the same thing. Many of you are a lot younger. Most of you are smarter. And certainly, all of you are much better looking. What can you do with it? Let's plug in some principles so that you can get it back and you can have the proper response. Did you know that you can't really have the proper response without that God-given birthright that you were given? You can have a response, but the right response, right? It should be fire. It should be fire from you. The fire of going to get it and make it happen. I think about what you want to do with your life. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with it? What do you want with your life? You think about a child. When I look at children, it's interesting. You ask a child at 5 years old what they want to be. If you ask a young boy, he's going to say, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a helicopter, a doctor, and a fireman. There are zero limits in a child's mind. They want to be everything. You ask a young girl, they want to be a doctor. They want to be a nurse. They want to be a teacher, right? They want to be an astronaut, president. There are zero limits. That stuff doesn't come until you slap them in the first year of first grade, first year of primary school, and it starts then. And it looks like this. Here's what it looks like. All the kids, the whistle blows or the bell rings and they're supposed to go to recess. They're going to go outside and play. They all just run for the door full speed to get out there. Teacher says, no, get back in here. Everybody get back in here. Get in a single file line. Everyone walk. Put your right arm on the person in front of your shoulder. I want you to walk this way and don't get out of line. We want you to go outside to play this way. Now, granted, there are some benefits of that. There's going to be less injuries. The part about it that's bad is a child has already figured out how to navigate to get to where they want to, and we're squashing it. We got to be creative in how we handle this stuff because we're robbing a child of some of their adulthood, things that they need, things that you need right now was squashed out many times over, and that happened to you. That's just one example. There are so many things. It took, like I said, 12 years for those that live in the United States, 12 years of education when you were being put in a position where you were taught to conform, otherwise you're bad. Teacher asked a question. How'd you get the answer? I figured it out. Well, you didn't do it the way we told you to, so even though you got the right answer, you didn't do it this way, so I'm sorry. And then some other kids laughed. Now you heard the people laugh, and then she corrected you. Now you don't want to put your hand up when it's time. You're subconsciously being taught not to answer because you might get shot down. You also recognize when you do answer, try to sound like everyone else. That way you're safe. And before you know it, we're nothing more than drones. You want to be successful in your business? Don't be a drone. Just because someone says recruiting's bad, don't be a fool and fall for it. Figure it out for yourself. I mean, they recruit in sports, right? You recruit people to the things you like. Oh, did you try the red popsicles yet? They're amazing. They're so good. They're sweet. They have like a cherry flavor. They're much better than that other one. You were trying to recruit me to what you like. It's natural. Ladies, aren't you funny? Oh, girl, that blouse is so cute. Where'd you get it? See, oh man, I got it over at the so-and-so at the mall. Really? Yes, right now there's 2 for 1. You better get over there. Just recruited someone. Now all of a sudden, recruiting is bad? Makes no sense at all. Recognize it. You see it. Someone wants to talk to you about their favorite movie, they're going to recruit you to it. Man, you didn't see it yet? Oh, it's amazing. Did you not know? Well, don't worry. I don't want to jump the gun, but you're going to find out this week. That's where we're going. We're going to understand that the power of what you've been given from birth is all you need to become a master. You just need to learn some skills to go with it. You see, it's crazy. Over the last 5 to 7 weeks, we spent many weeks at home. Hour for hour. Many have spent hundreds of those hours. See, you're given 168 a week. You've been out 5 to 7 weeks. Many of you spent hundreds of hours surfing and binging. With zero return, you can learn the skill of how to recruit or build an organization. Learn the skill of growing a business. Doesn't matter what you don't have. I am so tired of headed up to here with the people that have all these excuses, and all you gotta do is apply yourself. Have you not seen what a child does when they want to learn to play the drums or the trumpet? They sound horrible for the first year or so, but they don't quit. And what happens? They become great. Where you're so proud as you watch your child doing the recital, they sound so beautiful. But whereas it was horrible at first, you couldn't, you're like, please, not now. Please, could you turn it down some? Right? You have to get to that point. Grow it. Learn it. Get those skills. You deserve to know what that is. I think one of the things I want to do is I want to ensure that we can apply to our business what it is we want. We saw what a child wants. What do you want? You want a successful business? What do you want? What are you willing to do for it? Are you willing to pay the price? Because you were given the strength, the mental strength, and the ability, your core, to do it. Do you want it? Even though you don't have a special marketing system, even though you don't have a fancy computer, Because there was success long before those things ever existed. What do you want? Go for it. What do you want? What do you want for your family? You have these visions? You want to get a home for your family finally and get things where they ought to be? Do you want to change the outcomes that you've been seeing within your family, within your business? Is that what you want? I got one thing to tell you. Go for it. Learn the skills that will make the difference. Learn the skills that will do it. If you learn the skills of what it means to do home business, right, what they call network marketing, if you can master the skills it takes, not the trickery, not the scamming and lying to people, make them think they're going to be rich, but the truth behind how to do it and what it is and what's possible, the sky is the limit for you. Learn the skills. This week, I'll be giving you some what I call 101 basics so that you have enough to build your fortune and stop chasing the rainbow. How many years has it been since you've had that one good month? You made $12,000 one time in your life. You made 22 Bitcoin once. You made whatever it was once, and you haven't been able to find it. The reasons you haven't been able to find it is you didn't use the things that came from you. You used the other things. Now you can use the things you have and then combine it with things you can get from the outside, and the sky's the limit. And here's what I'm here to tell you. It doesn't matter if you are older. It doesn't matter if you are male or female, what color you are. What matters is will you apply you. The things I talked about today, it happens the same for all. All infants have that drive until it's driven out of them. All 2 to 5-year-olds have that drive and want to be everything possible they can put their mind to. It just takes years of conditioning to get rid of it. It doesn't matter what color. Today, if you were a woman and you've always been told that you weren't good enough because you come from a family that's more dominant with males, and you do, guess what? You can do this. You can be as successful as you want to be. If you are a person that comes from a background that you're not a native to the United States, or you're not native to the country you're in, you're not sure what's possible, you can do this. Learn some skills, get back the drive that was taken from you. I'd say when you learn these things, you'll be able to develop leaders, which is where the fastest amount of your money is going to come from. If you want to trick people to join you, you want to put up a fake check, go buy a $2,500 to $3,500 car monthly so you can tell people you made it in your business. You want to trick people to get it? That's not reproducible. And the people that do that, they have the same issue. That's why they join 10 to 12 companies a year. You can build it soundly where you don't have to do anything to worry about people. You know, I'm a big believer in the 18-40-60 rule. When you're 18, oh, you're so afraid what everybody's thinking, right? You think everybody's looking at you and wants to know what you're doing. That's the 18-year-old. The 40-year-old doesn't care what anybody's thinking. They don't care what people were thinking about them at all. They just don't. When you're 60, you actually realize that no one was ever thinking about you in the first place. How about be like the child who doesn't care what people think? They will cry. A child will go for it. A child will say mine. A child will take it from anyone who has it. If you can get to the point where you cannot be so concerned, overly concerned with what everyone else is doing and saying and thinking, oh, you can do this. Won't you do it? This is Dwayne Golden. Let's come together again tomorrow night, 9 p.m., and let's go ahead and break the doors open in this outcome-based business. Getting a business is based on getting outcomes. Now watch this now. Everybody talks about streams of income and getting things in, but they don't tell you the importance of becoming what it takes to get there. That's what I like about the old school. You had Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, all these great leaders, people teaching people what to do. Now today's guys, right? They're teaching everybody how not to give an F, right? How just everything's I don't really care. I'm really not a big fan of the over vulgar stuff, but that's just me. But you can do how you do. I think if we could just get down to the principles that God placed in our world so we can be successful, the sky's the limit. Plug them in. Plug them in. Let me give you one thing here that I think would be helpful. I determined when I was 41, in 2005 or 6, I'm going to build my business and I'm going to make it so that it can last as long as it possibly can. I took a look at life in the world of botany. There's a form of life that has no termination date. It doesn't die from age. And I thought, wouldn't that be something if my business could exist and not die from age? Wouldn't that be phenomenal, I thought. And so I went and looked at this. This form of life that I'm talking about is a tree. It absorbs, a large tree would absorb hundreds of gallons of nutrients from the soil every day, developing, getting all the nutrients it needs. It will absorb a ton of sunlight, and it's going to give off oxygen and take in CO2. It's so amazing. It really is so amazing how a tree, which is not a human, is so obedient to the forces of nature, to the way that God's put these principles in the world. And we as human beings, we look for shortcuts and end arounds and coming up with trickery to get the results. Wouldn't it be interesting if a tree tried to use trickery to get results? It would just plummet. It wouldn't have life. It wouldn't give fruit. I decided to build my business like a tree. I don't want it to go anywhere. I want it to last. So I've got to constantly develop myself. You give me 5 weeks at home, great. I got to learn new things. I am learning new things. I am reading books. I'm learning things all the time. And I'm not going to stop. I think of so many, like Michelangelo, who in his 70s was still painting the Sistine Chapel. In his 80s, his motto, in his 85, he says, I am still learning. You must continue to learn. The sky's the limit. You're home. You're not back yet. Learn the skill. Come out with us. Let's get to the bottom of this together. This is Dwayne Golden, and we can do it. I don't care what company you're with. Now, I would love for you to be with Ingreso Cybernetico. But if someone invited you here to learn this stuff, come on out and get to it. Because it's not based on the company. It's based on you. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And yes, I'm going to check out these chats. I got to go over to my desk, and which is way, way in front of me. I can't reach it or see any of that stuff. So we'll talk to you in a few.